And whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and begin.
Alright, how many of you regularly go to church? Raise your hand. Alright. For those of you who raise your hand, you probably have been to more events to witness God working through people more than a person who does not regularly go to church. My theme today will be talking about having a strong faith and how you can have a strong faith. My main verse was 1 Corinthians 15:58, and I'll read that to you right now. Therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. So a little background about Corinthians. Corinthians was written by Paul. He was an apostle. It was written in correction for the Corinthian church because there was a lot of errors. And the issues found from the Corinthian church were founded by Chloe, who showed Paul. Some cross-references to show that faith elsewhere is in the Bible is in Romans 4:20-21. I'll read that to you. No unbelief made him waver concerning the promise of God, but he grew strong in his faith as he gave glory to God, fully convinced that God was able to do what he had promised. So in this verse, we don't know what this man was going through, but obviously he was going through something like a rough time, and God was always there for him. And the next one is Joshua 24:14. Now therefore fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in faithfulness. Put away the gods that your fathers served beyond the river and in Egypt, and serve the Lord. So in this verse it basically states that other gods obviously are false, and the only God that we should be serving with a strong faith is Jesus Christ. The next one and the last one is Leviticus 5:15. It says, if anyone commits a breach of faith and sins unintentionally in any of the holy things of the Lord, he shall bring to the Lord as his compensation a ram without blemish out of the flock, valued in silver shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary for a guilt offering. So back then they would bring stuff like sheep and goats to serve as sacrifice for their sins. Obviously we don't do that anymore. We kind of just ask for forgiveness and prayer. But obviously there's consequences for your sin. So having a strong faith is important to not have those consequences. Next I'll read to you the parable of the mustard seed, which is found in Matthew 17:14-20. And when they came to the crowd, a man came up to him and kneeling before him said, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic and he suffers terribly. For often he falls into the fire and often into the water. And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not heal him. And Jesus answered, O faithless and twisted generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him here to me. And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the boy was healed instantly. Then the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, why could we not cast it out? He said to them, because of your little faith. For truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. So basically what happened in this story was this man's son was suffering from a seizure, and Jesus took the demons out of him, but the disciples were not able to because of their little faith. And Jesus basically gives a life lesson that says if you have a strong faith, nothing is impossible. So having a strong faith is important for unbelievers and believers both, because Christians should daily try and go to church every Sunday, even though it's not always possible, but it's always important to try and keep strong in your faith. And unbelievers, you should know that you have people there for you even if you're not a believer. After showing you some life lessons, maybe you guys can apply this to your everyday life and grow a strong faith. Ways such as going to church can help us grow in our faith and relationship with God. It is important that we as Christians build up unbelievers and help them and show them who we truly are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause.